What's up, guys? It's Hayden from Far From Average Automotive, and today we're at Kennedy Detail, and we got a 2021 Porsche Taycan 4S. My initial thoughts and kind of like the walk around of this is that it just looks like kind of like the Panamera in a way, but like futuristic, because it still keeps true to that Porsche look, but you see the headlights are kind of like a little bit smaller, not as round as a lot of the Porsches are known to be. And if you come with me over here, while it may look like a hatchback, it is not. It is not a hatchback. It's more of like a four-door sedan. And if you come to the back, like Sean usually says, is on his SI he has the light that goes all the way across that's just a reflector. Well, this one has an actual light bar across the back. And then, you know, since it is electric, no exhaust tips. So here at the back of the car, you know, it's totally different from all the other Porsches. But you got the big thing big light bar right here. And if you come here real quick, Sean, look inside. It looks like a bunch of circuits on the light bar, which is pretty unique and something you haven't seen before in any type of Porsche. And another thing that's cool too is that there's a wing right here that comes up whenever you're going a certain amount of speed. And unlike a lot of cars, you can't just click a button and it come up and just drive with it and show it off or whatever. There's only a button in there to have it come up a little bit for cleaning mode, is what it's called. And it gives you enough space to wipe right there. Another cool thing too is that the trunk with the key right here, you can unlock it with the key, or you can come right here to this button, press it, and it'll open itself. And it is not a hatchback, so the trunk is slightly smaller than what people would think this car is. But whenever you're done with the trunk, you can either click the button or click right here, and it comes right back down. So coming to the side of the car, it kind of has that typical Porsche like sedan look / hatchback, like the Panamera in a way, but just slightly smaller. And with this wheel right here, it is very unique and different from all the other types of Porsche wheels. It has a bunch of carbon fiber, and it's like very close to what the concept was for this car. If you come over here, see how these door handles are just flapped? If you just lift up underneath, touch underneath, it will come up. And if you want to lock the car, you just press it and it goes back down. Coming to the front of the car, again, very different headlights, but it still stays true to the Porsche look and has like the curves and everything that a Porsche would have. Just looks, in my opinion, very futuristic, which is what I guess they were going with this car. You also got some vents right here, which is kind of weird considering the fact that it's electric, but it'll be there to cool off the brakes and such underneath. And then to open the front, you just hold down on this key, and then hit the latch, and it opens right up. It is kind of small in the front, but honestly, it doesn't really matter once we get to the interior. It's so nice. Let's check out the interior, but before we go, Sean, point the camera at this roof. Look at it now. Now let's go inside and point it up. It's a full glass roof all the way to the back. Now, starting off, my first impressions of this interior is just, it is very futuristic and still stays true to Porsche. You got the steering wheel looks kind of updated, but still kind of the same as other Porsches that I've been in. And then the one thing that sticks out to me is that there's no buttons. how many? 1, 2, 4 screens inside of here. And the one thing that I've heard that people didn't really like for this Taycan is that the volume is done right here, and it's a button. And a lot of people were complaining about that in 2020, but I guess they didn't update that for this, but I honestly don't see how it could fit in, but it's just one small price to pay.
If I may add on that note, my SI has the touchscreen and I hate it myself too.
Yeah, no one likes it, but I still think it fits in this car. And also, your AC is all controlled right here. You have your whole settings right here as touchscreen. And another thing that I find is cool is that this is all touchscreen up here, but if you look at this screen down here is a mouse. And you can just use this if you're too lazy to touch up here, which is really cool. Honestly, makes it really unique. Another thing too that I found cool when looking this car up was the electric sport sound. You can turn that on. It's like turning on and off an exhaust. So whenever you're driving, it'll make noises as you're driving and everything. And then if you come up here to air conditioning, as you can see, these vents are not movable. And how do you move them? It's through the screen. You have these little buttons right here that you can move them all, and you have different modes. So you can do diffuse, which will just kind of diffuse it into the whole car. Focused, which will just focus it on the passenger. And then individual, where you can just move it however you like. Another thing that I find is cool too is that they still kept the clock at the top of pretty much every Porsche you'll ever buy. Is that there'll be this really cool clock. I don't know the history behind it, but I always found it really cool in the car. And also, the gear shift right here. It's right next to the steering wheel, and it's a little lever. And then you got a P for park. And also the power button looks like a computer power button. And then if you come to the display up here, it is a touch screen, but only on the sides where you got different modes. You got your lights on the left, and then you got traction control, suspension, and you could raise and left the car and such. And then right here, this button right here, which I find is really cool, it's a shortcut button, so you can program that to whatever you'd like. And if you look at the display, if you press this button right here on the steering wheel, you could change what you want to show up. So then you see the orange, then you use the wheel, and you can change it to however you want. And you can have this thing called extended map, and it'll extend the map across your whole display, which I find is really cool and very special. And in all of my opinion, Porsche did an amazing job. And then finally, there's a drive mode little dial right below the horn and where you control the gauge cluster. And then also in the passenger seat, you have your own little display, which I did not know of until we got into this car. And I believe, yeah, it is a touchscreen too. So you can say the driver's too busy, you can just you can control everything from the passenger just right here, even though it's right next to you, but still really cool. So before we leave the interior and go like in the front to go to the back, these seats are like kind of look like futuristic bucket seats, but you still have all the amenities and stuff that you would have in a luxury car. And if you look how thin they are, they still have heated and air-conditioned seats, which is really cool, because most of the seats that you'll find that have air conditioning and heated are kind of like big and bulky, but these aren't. And then you also have this headrest that kind of like extends and makes it look like it's floating. Like if you ever had like a floating shelf or whatever, they did that with the headrest, which I find really cool. Then if you come with me to the back, the back seats, I mean, you have a little bit of room, but Sean and I being tall dudes, I imagine it can get old after a while. But what's really cool is that these seats back here are buckets. So like if you took like the whole family for a track day or whatever, in the back seat you won't be sloshed around. You also have back here these vents, you can actually move them, unlike the front. And there are no screens back here, but that doesn't matter because these seats just look very minimalistic and honestly very cool and fit the futuristic vibes of this car. Before I start it up and go for a drive, I wanted to show off the charging port. So like, you know, you would think that you push on it or whatever and it'll like flap open. No, you just slide your finger on the bottom and it flaps up. And I didn't know this till we talked to the owner, but there's two charging ports. There's one on this side and one on the other. Both work for like normal charging ports, but if you want to supercharge your car, you come over here and you plug it in like that, how it is there, and then you get the fast charging. And then to close it, you just slide your finger the opposite way, and it'll close right up. So we're about to feel launch control in this car, and I'm excited to hit it whenever. That's fast.
Wow, those brakes are amazing.
Wow. Yabba dabba doo.
I think 5 centimeters or 4 centimeters.
That's sick.
So you could actually see when we get to like a stop sign if I switch back on force from it. This is on range.
What is the horsepower equivalent on this?
This is 482. 482 on a launch control and a 429.
Oh, dude, that was gonna be like 700. That's crazy.
No, I think the Turbo S is like 620 or something.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
They're just, Porsche's just really good at launching. Yabba dabba doo. And it's crazy too, this is
5.
But it's crazy. And also what's cool too is that this car is 4,700 pounds, so it's kind of lighter than the competition as well. So the lower horsepower numbers and lower torque compared to the other electric cars,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because this could be faster than them, just due to the weight.
I would say like Tesla, I think a Model 3 performance is probably faster than this on the straight line.
But
This one is
not.
like 3.8.
Yeah.
Now theirs is like 3.4, 3.2.
But on a track.
On a track, I don't know.
Ooh.
So, I guess notice the speed at that light
Okay.
on your screen.
Well, I'm selling my bet. I feel disappointed.
Okay.
I said that my friend, one of my attending physicians, he had a Targa 4S, and I mean, that's a really nice 911. And he drove this. He's like, I feel useless now.
I'm disappointed in my own
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, I've been wanting to just ride in one of these ever since they came out, and I am not disappointed at all. This is sick. And it just gets faster with the other models too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
This is fast. Some after drive thoughts after going on a ride in this. It was honestly breathtaking. We started off with launch control, and from right there I was hooked. This thing is amazing and lived up to the standards that I've, ever since it got released, I've always wanted to ride in one. And this isn't even the top model, which is the Turbo S, so from the 4S up it just gets faster. And honestly, this kind of a little bit scared me. And the other thing too is that this thing handles like a Porsche, which I was really shocked. One of my buddies, his family, they race Porsches, so I got to ride in some fast Porsches and stuff, and you know, this going around and driving feels exactly like a Porsche, which I find amazing, and props to Porsche for making it like that. And then on the other fact, it's like very comfortable. And in comfort mode, you don't feel a thing on a bump in the road. And then in Sport Plus, I mean, it's slightly bumpier, but I mean, it's gonna beat a lot of cars while still being very comfortable. And other than that, amazing car. I want one now. I want to thank y'all for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and here on the YouTubes. I want to thank Kennedy Detail for giving us a place to film. Great guys, need your car detailed, everything, come here. We also post weekly, so hit that notification bell, and also come check out our merch down below in the description. Pick a shirt, a hat, sticker, or a koozie up. It really helps us. Thank y'all. See y'all next week.